Scrappy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, and I am starting a new little series called the Travel Album Tuesday, something like that. I just got back from a week-long vacation in California. We were traveling home for my little brother's wedding, and we spent a week there, so of course I have a travel album to make. So today I'm going to start with the cover page and the first spread in the album, which is us traveling. So you can see I have a 6x8, two 6x8 photos here, and then this 3x8 little photo of our feet, and I am just adhering everything together because I'm going to put these two photos back to back, the 6x8s, with a little flappy flippy thing for the feet. So that is how that's going to go together. And then I have this transparency that I'm going to put Journey on. And I'm putting these big gold letters and this California shape that says home. So the album is going to be called Journey Home. And I'm going to stick them right on this 6x8 photo of the wing. We took a very early morning flight, so I got to see the sun come up from the sky, which is always fun. So that's what this photo is of. And then luckily, so I had these letters, and actually it came in like a mixed pack of letters where some of them were gold like this and they were different fonts. Some of them were like a black shiny, some of them were rose gold. And it just so happened that H, and I think that's actually a W, but H, M, and E were gold, and the O was not. So I had this little California die cut from, I think, a crepe paper line a few years ago, and I used that as the O instead. So now I have the other side, and I'm going to put something in between our feet. I was thinking about the square one just to be not so predictable, but I end up going with the circle patch instead, and those patches are from Ali Edwards' Journey Kit. And it says something about Journey. I'm going to use these boarding passes, and I'm just going to layer them on the back of this photo, and I'm going to kind of do it a little wonky so that it's not like, I don't know, just so it's not boring. I just felt like it. So I'm going to cut off all of the excess, and it actually leaves a little space, a little white space up in the top corner that I have to cover up, which is fine. I will figure out a way to do that. These are Pink Fresh die cuts. So I pulled together a few travel die cuts and things as I was going through my stash one day and just kind of put them all aside. It's mostly Pink Fresh Studio and Coco Daisy and Ali Edwards. Just because I had a bunch of like Journey and stuff like that from the summertime. So I just pulled those out while I was thinking about the fact that we were going on a vacation. So I have them all in a bag, and they're just kind of spread out on my table right there. I'm going to trim off this excess. So now I need to cover up that corner over there. Trying to figure out how I want to do it because I don't want to cover up our names down there on the boarding passes. The rest of it doesn't really matter to me, but the name and like the destination I don't want to cover up. So I'm trying to figure out what to add. Says all my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I thought about adding something vertically like that, but I thought it didn't look great. So I will figure it out. I thought about covering it up with this Flippy-Flappy, but it covered up Patrick's shoe, and I didn't want that either. So I decided to put the Flippy-Flappy on the top. I don't know why I call it that. The divider pull tab thingy. Those are some old Coco Daisy stickers that I just happen to still have in my stash. So I have this that I'm going to tuck under here, and that sort of covers up the majority of that white space, so that's a good start. And of course I cut off part of it because I didn't want it A, too bulky, and B, to go to waste. Adventure, then I have this cabin baggage. So what I do is I put this down so that it's kind of a flap to help turn the page. But then the other side is boring and blank, so I gotta figure out what to add there. So what I decided to do is to stamp something. So I'm going to get out some stamps. They end up being Coco Daisy stamps because I have them sitting there. And there were some great travel stamps this summer in their Travel-ish collection. Of course I got to rearrange things because that's just how I roll. It was a little crooked. I needed to fix it. So I'm going to get out some cardstock and a little foam 8.5 by 11 sheet just to stamp on. Decided to put this one here. So I thought about maybe stamping directly on the die cut, but I thought that that was risky considering it had adhesive on it that I had pulled off, so who knew what the texture was like. So instead I just pull in some white cardstock and I stamp twice just so I have 2 copies. Then I cut down the cardstock in the shape of the die cut. And then when I adhere them back to back, it does not come out straight, and I have no idea why. I thought I was careful. Apparently I was not. But I actually like the angle that the stamp ends up being on, so whatever. I was like, what? What happened? I'm going to staple it down because they can be testy when you use them to turn the page. So at this point, I'm going to add in the airport codes. So we were at Dallas, Fort Worth when this photo was taken. And then on the other side, I'm going to put SMF, which is Sacramento. But there were no S's, so I have to pull out another alpha sheet. So I pull out this blue one. They both match, so it doesn't really matter. Looks like I might have done it on purpose. And at this point, I thought I was done with this Flippy-Flappy part. So I put it away. Forgot it to punch a hole. I put it away, and then I'm going to come back to it in a second after this because I decided I was not done. So I pulled out some cards out of my stash that I thought would match these photos plus the thing next to it, the 6x8 next to it. That backstory card is Coco Daisy. So I'm just going to adhere these down. Okay, so that's a good start for this 6x8 pocket page. Now what do I want to do? I think I'm going to add some stamps to this backstory card. I'm trying really hard to customize my album a little bit more than I normally do because I just was wanting to have fun. This is going to be a really super fun album actually because I have a ton of ideas to make it not boring and just, pictures in pockets and that sort of a thing. So just experimenting and having fun, sort of a warm-up to December daily. So I decided to add travelogue with a little airplane for the card to explain these faces that Patrick is making. If you missed my Instagram story, even the spouses of shutterbugs get tired of photos, and we were on an escalator in the Dallas-Fort Worth airport going from terminal to terminal, and I was like, let's take a selfie, and Patrick was like, no. But instead of saying no, he did it with his face and ruined every single selfie I tried to take. It's actually fairly hilarious. I eventually got a selfie, but these are a way better story than, just another selfie of us. So I decided to scrapbook all of them. Actually, there were a few more, but these were my faves. So I decided to scrapbook those. I'm going to create some clusters in the corner. These are all basically the same picture, so I don't mind covering up bits and pieces of them and encroaching on their space. I'm going to add a title to this blank photo up here. So I added in 2 different colors to match the other side of the spread, and it's just added terminal change, and so silly. I will of course add in my journaling after I turn the camera off. So I'm putting all of these in pockets because I'm about done now, and then I turn off the camera and decide I want to add just one more thing to this spread. So I'm flipping through so you can see, and then I will add something else. So I decided to cut out or print out a couple more photos. These were in the Knoxville airport before we left. It was like 4:30 in the morning. We were so tired, and I decided that I wanted them in there as well. I thought that so many selfies would have been repetitive, but I decided I wanted them. And then I'm going to add a little title, and I'm good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. Thank you.